Break with Rachel Vigil. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel Vigil.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. We've got plenty to talk about as I was at the Avalanche game. Plus, I owe a lot of you an apology, and we will get into that. But first, a little bit of breaking news coming out of the NFL. It's official. Justin Herbert is undergoing season-ending surgery today on his fractured right index finger that he suffered on Sunday, per Glee source. So it looks like the Broncos will see Easton Stick again later on this season. A little bit of a disappointment. Obviously, you never want to see people get injured. That's like obvious. But I want the Broncos to be going up against the best teams possible to know that if they're actually legit or are they not legit. So it's a little bit of one of these like, oh, it's going to be an easier road for them to hopefully make the playoffs. But at the exact same time, in order to win playoff games, you have to play really good teams. So you almost want them to, set themselves up for success moving forward. So, of course, huge shout out to Justin Herbert. Obviously, as he will undergo surgery, we are sending our best wishes to him for a full recovery, etc. I know a lot of people in the NFL are like, this is a travesty for Justin Herbert because it just feels like nothing can go right for him. And it's frustrating. And next year, I think they'll have a brand new quarterback or a brand new coach out there. I think Brandon Staley will be let go. But yeah, otherwise, just a little bit of like a bummer on a Tuesday, but it definitely is an easier road for the Broncos. So good morning to everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Let's get into the Colorado Avalanche because do they have a goalie problem? I want to say no, but possibly. And there's a lot to get into as we look at it. But first, I owe everybody an apology. I am sorry. The media popcorn at Ball Arena is different than the popcorn you pay $8 for. Last night, you guys were obviously sitting down at the game, and I'm like, of course I'm getting popcorn. The Avs don't look super good, so I go spend the $8, get my big thing of popcorn, and I'm like, this is terrible popcorn. So for anybody that has spent $8 on a giant thing of popcorn to be disappointed and be like, what is that girl talking about? I apologize. It is different. I don't know if they add extra butter, extra salt to the media popcorn. I don't know what it is, but it was totally different popcorn than what I've had. And I feel terrible because it's not cheap popcorn, you guys. But I'm sorry. From me to you, to all my popcorn lovers, that one is on me. I'm going to find you better popcorn, I promise. Maybe the Broncos. The Broncos do a pretty good popcorn if you need some popcorn. But yes, I do feel quite bad about this one. But let's get into the game last night, you guys. The second period was ugly. Holy smokes. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm going to get into Makar, Nathan McKinnon, all of these guys. But it was just, what on earth? It was like the chemistry was totally off. Things weren't looking good. They weren't doing great shift changes. Like there was a whole bunch of things where you were just like, what is going on with this team right now? But then in the third period, they all reminded us of the absolute firepower that their offense can have. And you're just like, all right, here we go, Avs. And it was so much fun to be in the stands. Honestly, I missed it so much. Even when I'm there watching, just working, you don't get to stand up and cheer when they score a goal. Like you acknowledge that they scored a goal and you're like, okay, yeah, like breath of fresh air kind of thing. But how fun it was to actually stand up and like pump my fist. And I actually had met somebody last night too. And he was sitting right next to us and he was like, are you Rachel Vigil? And I was like, yeah, like nice to meet you, whatever. And he was like, I thought you looked like her. And then I saw the thing of popcorn and I was like, it must be her. And so we were able to chat for just like a few seconds, but it was really cool for that experience. One, because they recognized me because of the popcorn. So back to the popcorn thing, I do apologize. But also it was cool to be able to be down there in the stands with like a bunch of people and hang out and be cheering and, high-fiving people. And it was such a good game too. Obviously the struggles are real with this Avalanche team, but when you come out with a win, you love to see it. Also, the fact that it so quickly was like one to another when it came with Nazem Kadri. Holy smokes, you guys. Everybody was like cheering for him, like, yay, Naz. And then he scored the goal and everyone was like, no, Naz. And then he got almost in a fight with Georgiev and everyone was like, no, screw you, Naz. Like just a complete 180 by the end of the game, which was really fun to see and just like be a part of because obviously he was such a big part of the cup run too. So plenty of good stuff. But Makar is struggling, you guys. He really is. He's definitely not doing good. And he had a power play goal last night. He had 5 shots. He added an assist. And yet he doesn't look 100%. Now, obviously, he's coming back from that lower body injury. He had that 2-game absence. He's been back. But he just doesn't look right. And even when he was getting back to the bench, you could just tell like something wasn't 100% with him. I was watching kind of his facial expressions and just some of the ways that he was moving. And I'm like, yeah, he's not 100%, which is a huge bummer for this team because, again, as I say this in all of the sports, you're never 100% healthy. So even if you don't start at 100% healthy, that really deteriorates as the season goes on because it is such a long season. Nathan MacKinnon can't do it all, you guys. There's no way. He needs some more help. And we finally saw a little bit of that. But holy smokes, actually watching him down there on the ice so close, he puts everything into every single time he steps out onto the ice. I was blown away by the things that Nathan MacKinnon was doing. And every single time he had the puck, you could just tell everybody in the stands was like, all right, Nathan MacKinnon, be great. Go out there. Be extra special. And man, there were so many shots where you're like, oh, that was so close to going in. Or, oh my gosh, that was such an incredible play. Feels like time and time again we say that with Nathan MacKinnon. But we just need him to get a little bit more help because you can tell he's getting frustrated. And that's not a good place to be either when we're still so many games left in the season. But going back to this goalie problem. Georgiev stopped 17 of 22 shots on Monday night. 17 of 22 shots. Yeah, you're like, okay, that's not a bad percentage. Yeah, but look at how many went in. Very frustrating if you were an Avalanche fan because it feels like some of them were like easy shots that he just should have blocked. Like there was one and I was like, he literally didn't see the puck at all. And that's not good. So obviously they pull him. After the second period, Prosvetov comes in. He makes 11 saves. He ends up saving the day and able to allow them to get a win. And he had some hard shots that he had to block for sure. So now it's like a question of, is Georgiev going to remain the starter? Knowing Jared Bednar, my guess is yes. But also, you guys, let's look at the schedule real quick. You can go through and you can see the actual list and it's like, all right, they have good win streaks, but they also have a couple losses in there, but it's a rotation of all of these guys. And yes, we see that more and more in hockey all the time, but it's kind of like, all right, we got to find somebody who's just going to be solid. Now, obviously, if you're looking at this and you're like, well, the struggle's real right there, and you watch every single game and you're like a diehard Avalanche fan, you're like, no, they 100% have a goalie problem. Here's the thing. They didn't have a very good goalie either when they won the cup. Darcy Kemper wasn't an amazing goaltender either. They're still able to win the cup. Obviously, you wish Francouz was back too. That's the thing I was saying last night when it comes to Prosvetov is like, it sucks because he's their third string. Because Frankie, you hope he's doing well, but man, you really miss him in that leadership. And it just felt like at times this team was really, really missing some leadership qualities. But obviously, we heard from a lot of players after the game. They said, you know what? After the second period, our leaders really stood up and really were able to get us and be like, hey, this game's not over. Like, let's go back out there. And then we get into the drama that's coming around with the Colorado Avalanche. And you guys, this is kind of spicy because Mikko Rantanen's not really one to like throw some dirt back, throw some shade, but he had a quote yesterday after the game and he said, actually, one thing where I got a lot of extra energy, one of our Finnish NHL players' dads was talking bleep on me about me in the media. And he said that I don't train last summer like I used to. He was busy doing like events and partings and stuff. And he goes, Rantanen said, he was just making things up. That was for him. If you talk bleep, it's going to come back to you. And this was about Arturi Lekkonen's father, who is in the media back there in Finland. And so it's kind of coming back now. Of course, in my first head, when I heard this, I was like, oh no. Like, does that mean that there's going to be drama in the locker room when, you know, a father comments on somebody else's play? You're in the locker room. Like, that's not exactly a good look. And Mikko Rantanen did say that Arturi and him have a good relationship. So no matter what, that is totally fine. And that they are really good friends and teammates. So I was like, okay, because that's the last thing that this team needs for sure. And then, of course, last night also, you just got to get into the fact that they were putting shots up, but they were just not getting lucky. And that's a huge bummer, obviously. But it was like, all right, I really, really need this team to just step up and like, let's get back on track. Let's see some of the big stars also show up. Mikko, it was great to see him get back out there. I had people on Twitter who were like, hey, try and find Mikko Rantanen for us because he's just disappeared all of a sudden. So great to see him back out there. Nathan MacKinnon continuing to shine. Cale Makar, I really hope that he's able to kind of find that groove again. And I say that even after he had a goal last night. So that's crazy. But like, I know he can be that next level player. And I, of course, just always want to see that. But last night, too, there was a event that our very own Andrew Mason got to go to with Kareem Jackson. And everyone's kind of been wondering, all right, what is going on when it comes to Kareem Jackson, he obviously met with Roger Goodell. Like, what did he learn out of this entire thing? And essentially, I don't know if anyone walked away from it feeling super good from what we heard, but Andrew Mason has all the details. Give me.
Jackson is 3 games into a 4-game suspension. And a couple of weeks back, he had a conversation in New York City with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. That chat, which lasted a little over an hour, did not go exactly as K-Jack would have hoped.
I mean, for me, it was just all about going and, being able to voice, how I feel. I feel a lot better leaving, being able to express myself. But I was told that I'm responsible for the offensive guy's protection. So I'm not really sure how I protect myself, make plays, and protect him as well. But that's what I was told, and I'm not really sure what I do moving forward as far as playing this game. So hopefully I'll figure it out.
And that led to a simple question.
I was told that, and then I was asked, what would these guys say that I'm hitting? And I told them, I know exactly what they'll say because I talk to these guys. I have relationships with these guys, and they say the same thing, You're trying to make a play just like I'm trying to make a play. I think Dobbs said it in his press conference after the game. These are guys that, they're not hurt. They're getting right up.
And with that personal knowledge, Jackson wonders how defensive players should be asked to protect those on the offensive side.
Like I said, how can I protect myself, make plays, and protect the guy on the other side? It should be their responsibility and their job to protect themselves, even with, the coaching, for their coach to put Dobbs in that situation and then get in his press conference and complain and say it should have been a flag. No, have some accountability. Don't run that play with your quarterback. As simple as that. You run the toss with your running back, we're not even having this conversation. The only thing he's probably saying is he got to hold on to the ball.
And thus, Jackson plans to play the game as he has in the past.
At the end of the day, I got to still play the game. I'm going to go out and I'll play the game as I have, since 2010. For me, I guess lowering my target even more than I have. As far as trying to protect the guy on the other side, it's impossible. I have no clue as to how I'm supposed to do that. It's impossible.
And so it goes. Back to you, Rachel.
All right. So Andrew Mason obviously did a wonderful job on that package. We got to give him a lot of credit. But yeah, I walked away thinking, how is it a defender's responsibility to watch out for the offensive player? And that just doesn't sit right with me. Like, you're not supposed to make the hit if, there could be a possibility of injury. But what about if you're playing for your team to be able to stop them? None of that just sat right with me. And obviously Kareem was extremely, first of all, I love that he was honest. I love that he didn't go out there and be like, oh, the meeting went good, like whatever. He was super honest about how he felt. And he's like, I'm just going to continue to keep playing the way I'm playing and, obviously go maybe a little bit lower and all of that kind of stuff. But then I feel like you're getting into another territory of you can also hurt players by going even lower. And I don't know, none of it sat really well with me. And I do feel for Kareem Jackson because I don't think he's ever intentionally trying to hurt somebody. And I know there's been a lot of people that have come out and been like, oh, he's such a dirty player. And I'm like, no, he's trying to help his team win football games. And that's frustrating. And I get that. And so I just loved his honesty. And he did a Walmart shop with me yesterday with a bunch of kids too. And Andrew Mason was there and, he's giving back to the community too. So I always want to applaud that. But I do really feel for him in that situation that he didn't walk away with any answers of how he's supposed to fix the things that have now taken him out of playing the game that he loves for so long. He's lost so much money now because of that. I just think it's a little frustrating. But again, I appreciate the honesty of him being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I walked away from this and I still don't know how to feel. So again, I do really feel for him, but hopefully, you can just look forward and move on. I did take one of the things he said though. And I'm not sure if Kareem Jackson will return back next year, to be completely honest with you. Now, obviously, contracts always going to be up in the air if Broncos want to bring him back, etc. But just in his heart and kind of his demeanor, it just felt like he was kind of we'll see what next year brings, because this has clearly been really, really frustrating for him as well. So let's move on to some of our quick hits, you guys, too, because of course there's always some fun stuff. And this one's extra fun because Russell Wilson announces the birth of him and Sierra's daughter. So Amora Princess Wilson, and he says 2 wins in less than 24 hours. So congratulations to the Wilson family. So excited for them. Obviously, anytime there's a new member into Broncos country, you absolutely love to see it. And this one is extra special. And I love this picture too. And I think Amora is such a beautiful name as well. So I'm excited for them and congratulations to them as well. Moving on to Coach Prime, you guys. Holy smokes. The numbers came out. Coach Prime and the Colorado football team generated, are you guys ready for this? $113.2 million for the town of Boulder. Absolutely insane. Congratulations. They didn't know how to pay for Coach Prime. They didn't know how to do it. And yet they've been able to figure it out because he has generated so much money for the city of Boulder. And honestly, even as a CSU Ram, you guys, I will just say this. It makes me happy for the state of Colorado to see, us being talked about so much. And whether that has to do with Coach Prime or the product on the field, it does just make me happy that we're being talked about so highly here in Colorado because of what Coach Prime has done. I was scrolling on his Twitter this morning and he provides so much encouraging messages. And I was just reading and I was like, yeah, this is kind of getting me into my feel goods. I'm like, it's a Tuesday, everybody. We are so lucky to be alive. And he had one even too. It made me laugh. And it was you're looking for materialistic things. And maybe that's not what you're given. You're being given time. And I'm like, that is so true. We all need to look at that just a little bit differently. So I do love that as well. And then Andy Reid comes on to say that Tony did not check in with the ref. So everybody needs to stop freaking out. He didn't do it. And even when the head coach comes out and says that Kadarius Toney didn't check in before this absolutely crucial play, probably one of the craziest plays we would ever have seen in the National Football League, he didn't do it. He's to blame. That sucks. It is what it is, everybody. I'm sorry, but you got to check in. And I know there's a video going around too of him pointing back, but you have to wait for the ref to actually tell you. You can't just point at him and be like, okay, I checked in. That's it. No, you actually have to let the ref be like, yeah, you're good. Otherwise, this kind of thing can happen. I also do appreciate Patrick Mahomes coming out and saying that he obviously shouldn't have handled the Josh Allen situation the way that he did. A lot of kids will learn or look up to him and learn from the situation too. So I do appreciate that because I thought that it was so rude and so scumbaggy almost in a way. I was like, seriously, Josh Allen had nothing to do with any of that. And you can't even congratulate him after the play. I know I ranted about that yesterday, but I very much was like, all right, come on, man. Let's move on from that just a little bit. Let's congratulate. It's one of the games. I know it's been frustrating for you, but congratulate Josh Allen. So I'm happy to see that, he does apologize and he understands the role that he plays in a lot of kids' lives as well. Ohtani, this one, you guys, if you're a baseball fan, you should be so freaking frustrated. He will defer $68 million per year of his $70 million salary to allow the Dodgers to keep spending. You guys, if you're a baseball fan, you are extremely frustrated by this. Why? Because he's kind of cheating the system. That would be like Russell Wilson being like, oh, you only have to pay me $2 million. That way we can go out there and we can, sign some other big name players to be able to have a better team. It's great, but eventually you do have to pay him. But that's so frustrating. If you're a Dodgers fan, you're absolutely thrilled and you're like, yes, Ohtani, we love this. But if you are a fan of any other team, you're like, no, that's not fair. You're going to pay this guy this much money. He's the best player in the MLB. And all of a sudden, you're going to be able to bring in all of these other big names too because you can pay them because he's not going to get $68 million a year and he's only going to get paid $2 million. Also, he gets a huge tax break or something of that nature too. This is so frustrating. Again, if you are a baseball fan, a fan of MLB, this is really, really frustrating. I hate this. I'm like, it's just not chill. Again, could you imagine if Russell Wilson was just yeah, I'll only take $2 million. We can figure out the rest of it once I'm actually done playing. And then you can pay me the other, I don't even know, $680 million salary or whatever it's going to be. And then we can bring in some big players. I'm like, that is just cheating the system. If you're any other team, you're so freaking frustrated by that. And I am just that it pisses me off too. I'm just are you guys freaking kidding me? Also, Kirk Cousins, man. What a freaking gem Kirk Cousins is. I absolutely love that he now has the Kohl's Cash chain. Of course, if you did not watch Quarterback Season 1, he was featured in it. It was so much fun, and he was getting so much crap, I want to say, I guess, because he just looked like a normal dad. He was out there in his plaid shirt, button-up plaid shirt, and everybody was like, where did you get that, Kohl's? Obviously, he's really bought into it now, so I think it's so fun that he's continuing to play into it. I hope Kirk Cousins is doing well and recovering well. I'm excited, and hopefully we'll see him back out on the field next year, you guys. I don't think that he is done. I know there's like speculation of saying like, oh, like he's never going to be able to return. He's an older player. I hope he does, because I think that he does provide something special to the field always. But I do love this. And he says, giving the fam what they want, the Kohl's Cash chain. And I think that is just so funny. Also, I'm a huge supporter of Kohl's. Like, I absolutely love Kohl's. The deals you can get, you guys, unmatched, 100% for sure. And then last one, we got to get into the Tennessee freaking Titans, you guys. Teams down 14, under 3 minutes to go. We're 0-767 since 2016. That was up until the Titans last night as they beat the Miami Dolphins. Did not see that one coming. You guys, the playoff race is getting absolutely insane. Anything and everything can happen every single game in the NFL, and it is so much fun to watch. I feel like this season is just wild. I feel like every single time I turn on a game, I'm like, I didn't expect that one. I didn't expect that one. Like, I think Houston is a much better team than the Jets. What happened? They got smoked on Sunday. Like, this NFL season has been absolutely wild. I'm here for every single second of it, because you never know. It is a coin flip every single time. But 0-767 is absolutely crazy. But you know what? Good job for the Titans. We got to give it to them. Props to them. I just think that it is so dang funny too. I did want to also mention, you guys, and I'm never trying to be a hater on Russell Wilson. I just want to put that out there. I'm never trying to be a hater. But there were a few times on Sunday where all I could think about was Russ saying, if you don't love it, throw it away. If you don't love it, throw it away. I just kept repeating that in my head for some of the plays that they did, especially obviously the Marvin Mims one, where it was like, it just felt a little forced. And in that situation, I was like, clearly he was like, I can't have my first play just be like an incompletion. I can't just throw it away. And I wish he would have, because obviously they got the interception. Now, looking back, does it really matter? No, because the Chargers didn't get any points off of it. But still, I want Russ to be just like so hyper aware of that. And again, just go back to that saying, if you don't love it, throw it away. And that's a quote from him, you guys. You don't love it, throw it away. I don't know how many times I can freaking say it, but there were so many times where I was just like, oh, I really wish he would have just stuck to that instead of trying to like force feed something. And again, I felt like he was trying to force feed Jerry Jeudy because of all the talk the week before. And I was just kind of like, all right, Russ, like, let's not force feed. I got into that a ton yesterday. You could watch yesterday's episode, but I was very much kind of like, all right, I'm kind of over this. Like, stop force feeding him, get Courtland Sutton involved more. And speaking of Courtland Sutton, you guys, I have a Pro Bowl consideration. And here's the thing. Everybody is talking about how Courtland Sutton, you know, he doesn't have the crazy yards or anything like that. He does have double-digit touchdowns for the first time since 2014 in that season. Julius Thomas and Demaryius Thomas also had double-digit touchdown seasons, and we haven't seen that literally since 2014. That makes me almost sick to my stomach, because that's how bad the Denver Broncos have been for that long. But truthfully, here's why I think Courtland Sutton should be in the Pro Bowl conversation. Yeah, he may not have the crazy yardage or anything like that, but he is making catches, you guys, that have big time plays. Like, that is exactly what he's doing. You can't tell me that these two pictures right here don't absolutely scream like Pro Bowl wide receiver. He is making insane catches in the biggest moments, and I think that you have to appreciate that. And I think that has to almost have like a little bit of an or bigger implication compared to just having like crazy yardage. Like, yeah, you can run so many yards if you have an amazing quarterback that can do 50-yard passes to you all the time, like a Tyreek Hill who's crazy fast. And don't get me wrong, Tyreek Hill is an amazing wide receiver, but like, is he making those big time plays too? And I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched all of the Miami Dolphin games. And I know he makes a ton of big time plays. I see all of the highlights too. But Courtland Sutton deserves to be in the Pro Bowl recognition, at least the Pro Bowl voting, because he's making these big time plays. And I'm totally here for it. I think Courtland Sutton's had an amazing season. And for having a quarterback that, like, they have the chemistry, but that doesn't mean that Russ has been given the A-OK to just absolutely throw the bombs every single time. I think that he's done a really, really good job, and it's been really fun. I'm curious. There's been a lot of big Courtland Sutton catches this season, so let me know in the comments which one has been your guys' favorite, because there seriously has been a ton of them for him. And then also, I'm never going to not call him this, McMillian. Jaquan McMillan, but I'm going to forever call him McMillian because he is honestly just really started to shine. And you guys, the fact that we're seeing somebody like him who's getting in quarterbacks' faces and who's providing sacks, and like, I am 100% here for it. He's obviously had multiple sacks and interceptions. He's like one of 2 players this season in the NFL with like multiple. So I'm like, all right, I love that for him too. And he's already set a single season franchise records for most TFLs or by a Denver Broncos DB. You guys, that is crazy to even think about. It's been so fun to watch him. I'm a huge McMillian fan. Seriously, I have to just call him that. Like, there's no way. Joe Buck said it. I don't even think he realized that he said it, but I'm totally here for it. He has been absolutely insane too. So 2 guys that I think deserve recognition 100%. But again, please get Courtland Sutton just even talked about in when it comes to the Pro Bowl, because the catches he's been making have been absolutely unreal. Again, in the first double-digit touchdown since 2014. That's the year I graduated high school, you guys. 2014. Just think about that. Like, that's forever ago now. So yeah, I really, really hope we can get him in the conversation. And if he continues to make incredible catches, I do think that more and more people will start to recognize the name Courtland Sutton even more than they already do. So you guys, plenty of good stuff as always. I'm just reading some of your guys' comments as well. Also, appreciate all the comments down on our YouTube video from yesterday, you guys. Keep them coming, please. Like, let me know any questions. I also somebody who said, I think we're due for like an Ask Me Anything. So yeah, please ask me anything. We've got a few more minutes in here. And I know, let's see. I'm just reading some of them real quick from you guys. After quarterbacks, I was all in on Cousins and all out on Mahomes. You have to love Kirk Cousins no matter what. And just the difference between the 2 lifestyles of Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins was like so drastic and crazy. Kirk Cousins literally feels like the guy next door. And then Patrick Mahomes has like 50 people in his house after the game days and like they're doing crazy things. Just totally, totally different. Again, I really hope Kirk Cousins is able to bounce back at some point and be able to come back too. Rachel, where do we even begin with that game last night? It was crazy. I really, really was. I also loved the Kadri and Georgiev going at it. I thought that was so fun. And I was like, man, Kadri's kind of going at, somebody on the Avs. Georgiev wasn't there, obviously, when they won the cup. Like, he has no respect for him, or he has, I don't want to say no respect, but he has like nothing that he owes him. Like, they're not friends. And I was just like, I did not expect that at all. But of course, things always get high. Let's see. How's the wedding planning going? The wedding planning is going well. Feel like I'm kind of in this just like there's nothing left to do right now at this point. Like, obviously, as we get closer on, I'm getting married next October, if you did not know. So things will start to ramp up a lot more. But right now, I'm kind of just enjoying the time of the holidays, being able to hang out, being back in Colorado. We were traveling for so much last month, and now I'm happy to be back here and just enjoy the holidays. So, of course, I'm always wishing you guys and your families a happy holidays too. That is going to do it for Coffee Break today. Thanks for all the questions, you guys. I really appreciate all of it. And then tomorrow, Mike Evans is going to be on the show. We've got plenty to talk about too. Plus, he's a nice little winner chicken dinner. We will get into that. Make sure if you are watching on YouTube, subscribe, like this video too, and then comment down below, not in the chat, down below, because that definitely helps us reach more Denver Broncos fans. As always, love you guys so freaking much. So many good things. And also congratulations to the Wilson family again on the birth of their daughter. We will see you guys tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Bye, everybody.